This ain't no joke, this ain't no game. This that CSG game. They said pull up, so I came. You better put some respect on their name. Yeah, 55 was goody. Kill the vibe, how could he? Big Cardinal on the hoodie. Let me break it down for you fully. This ain't your average broadcast. This ain't just no podcast. I'm on the show, spread fake news. We just call it podcast. West Joey, Sam, Sean, Dalton. And you know that boy hit you. He said he want small fries. Tell him they better make him big. Yeah, you already know what we be on.
You bet. Jordan, here he goes. This place is gone.
If we set it, then set it in stone. Sit in the seat, set up your phone. You in the Cardinal sports zone.
Straight steal of home. The slide. The Cards win.
The magic is working tonight. How do you know when things are...
The emotional journey to the championship.
Welcome, everybody, to the longest-running streaming podcast series in the city devoted to Louisville athletics. Coming to you live from the Shoot 360 studios. This is the Cardinal Sports Zone podcast. I'm your host, Jeremy Wallman. Here are my co-hosts for the evening. First off, it is the big little brother, Mr. Biceps, Joe Wallman.
Acknowledge me.
Putting that work in the gym. Sean, stop it. We already know that your wrist has abs. Speaking of that, it is our one and only,
That's absolutely crazy.
the only one, Sean Barber.
How's it going?
And it's an honor, as always, to have in. We might as well just go ahead and say he's a part of the podcast team. He is the most, got the most guest spots in CSZ history. Between him, Chris Redman, and Ivan Green, they're right there within an appearance each. But it is our guy, we believe the leading tackler in NFL history amongst Louisville Cardinals. It's our guy, Preston Brown. Preston, what is good?
Hey, what's up, guys? How you doing?
We're doing good, man. Thank you for hopping on here with us. Let me get all the screens situated. I tried to be slick and pull him off until I introduced him, and then when it flashed to the intro, it showed all four of us sitting here. So I was like, well, whatever. Don't forget the Mossy Oak chat line is open. If you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, or however, send us your questions on social media. Check on the graphic below to see how you can follow the Cardinal Sports Zone podcast on social media and how you can help show us a little love and help us out monetarily if you wish. Hit that thumbs up button while you're here on YouTube. Make sure you're watching on YouTube if you can. It's going to help us out more analytically. And last but not least, let's shout out our fine sponsors: Fitness Market, Four Pegs, the Collision Course Crew Tailgaters, Cherry Pickin', Shoot 360, Mossy Oak, Planet Fitness, Rally House, and Beckman's Fine Blades, and our latest, Josh Jarbo from Remax Realty. Let's just talk a little bit about our sponsors real quick before we get started. First, Peyton Stevens, Shoot 360. What an awesome facility that is. Joe, you've been in there with me a couple times. They're really something we didn't have growing up. Now, we had stuff like it around, but we didn't really have a place where we go and hone our basketball skills, or we may have had a different calling. Instead of podcast, we might be hooping or something with our height that we have. And I'd be remiss if I didn't shout out our guy Rick Kieber with Planet Fitness, opened up a beautiful facility here across the street, across the neighborhood from where I live at. It is amazing. It's probably the best Planet Fitness I've ever been in.
It's my new home gym.
And yeah, and you used to travel over the one on over there by the Jefferson Mall, and then you were even going to one over by your work. But this one blows all of them out of the water, and we appreciate him not only bringing one closer to. I appreciate him bringing one closer to my house for convenience, because I've been going twice a day, trying to finally starting to feel a little bit healthier. Finally starting to feel like, getting some cardio in. And I've been there. It opened on Monday. I've been there every day, 2 times a day. I love it over there. It's
been open 5 days. I've been there 5 days.
Yeah, absolutely. Did you go Monday?
I did.
You did. That's right. But shout out to everybody, not just them two, everybody. Preston, what you been up to, my guy? Look, I caught him while he's taking a drink.
Nothing much. Got married in June.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So just been living, trying to get better each day, trying to do whatever, figure out what I'm going to do for work eventually, find a job or do something. I don't know. Maybe start coaching or helping some kids do stuff. So just been trying to figure out what to do down here.
Any Has there been any talk about you trying to, hop on with Jeff Brom and the crew here at Louisville?
No, no,
No?
I haven't talked to them at all about doing anything like that.
I think that would be awesome for the program if we could have, because there's people out there, well, and I'm one of them. As far as defensive players in the NFL for the last 10, 15 years, you are the best. You've been the most impactful, even though you've been off for a couple seasons. You made the city proud. You made the program proud. When I was growing up, it was Sam Madison. It was Ray Buchanan. It was Ted Washington.
Alan Campos, Johnny Frost.
Well, I meant guys that actually played a lot, not just made the league. Those guys, Sam and Ray and Ted, they played almost every game of their 10, 11, 12-year careers. Yeah, Ted.
Okay, I didn't know if you said Ted.
I literally finished the word Washington when you asked me if
Well, I was ready to say those names.
Yeah. So, and you've been that for this generation. You've been when these kids grow up, they're gonna be like, man, I remember when Preston Brown was doing it on the football field. Man, he was awesome. So I think something like that. We're trying to reinvigorate all the programs. We had a little bit of, the pandemic hit. It affected everybody. It brought a lot of people down. It brought our athletics program for whatever reason. And I know the pandemic happened to everybody, but for some reason, our sports programs here at the Ville suffered greatly. And the basketball programs finally, pulled up their pants, put the belt, tightened the belt up, got out there, and they're starting to show us something. The football team, they hired Jeff Brom a couple years back, and it's definitely at least on the track. It's not back to where it was when Charlie Strong was here, without a shadow of a doubt. But we are on the way to that, I feel, right now. So, yeah, I hope to see you on the side. Listen, I enjoyed hearing your breakdowns on the sideline. Was there a reason why you didn't keep doing that?
The color guy came back, so they moved Jody back down to the sideline.
Boo, Jody. I'm just kidding. All right, well let's get into before we get into the show, we got some chat line comments. Robert Maxwell says, "What's up, Cardinal Sports Zone?" And Preston Brown. Trenton says, "Need to get my man cave like Preston's, man." Yeah, that's pretty nice. Pretty nice. So here's what me and Sean kind of put the show together after our show last week. Joey wasn't back from vacation yet, so he didn't really have a lot of input on the show. But we wanted to ask you. I was a former Louisville Cardinal. The difference is I never stepped on the field. Preston was on the field a bunch of times. So our first question was bye weeks. So we got rolling a little bit. We've won a couple of games, won a tough game again. And nobody ever thought these words would come out of anybody's mouth. Won a tough game against a respectable James Madison team last week. What does the bye week do to players? Does it? That's just what we're curious about. Is that something that do players kind of, okay, we're about to start the season over again, or do they just do they work harder during bye weeks?
Yeah, in college, you really can't go nowhere, so you really focus. It's kind of like a bowl week. You get a little extra preparation for your next opponent. You can self-scout a little bit, even though it's so early. You still self-scout to see what plays worked, what didn't work with the coaches, go over your flaws and what did good, and then you just get the guys who were hurt healthy. Just try to clean up anything you can, because in the NFL, people leave and go home and go on vacations and do all different things. But in college, you really guys just really hone in, get your grades right, do extra study hall, do everything that you need to do during that week. Write your papers, meet with your counselors, meet with your tutors, do all those extra things so that when game week comes back again, you'll be ready to just fly through with the next opponent.
So preparation wise, once you get into your groove, to have that bye week, does that slow down your momentum, or are you just like, as a true athlete, are you just like, okay, I just got some extra time, doesn't really affect? And also the question's twofold, because both of our bye weeks are within the first 6 weeks of the season. which sucks because some people will look at bye weeks and be like, okay, well, we got 1 week 5. We can kind of rest some of the people who may be injured or overworked, and then rest some more people week 10 to get ready for the end of the season, the bowl push and the title games and stuff like that. But to have them both this early in the season, are you a big fan of that?
No, I don't like having them so early. I like getting that mid-season break where you can kind of cool off and really rest some of those injuries. But right now, it's kind of like the games that we did have, even though the second one was a little closer, they're kind of like preseason opponents to kind of get the dust off, try new things, rotate different guys in and out. Because we know Brown and those guys will be playing more reps as the season goes on, but to see them actually get a rotation going and get some guys who won't play later in the year some needed reps if injuries do come up. So it was good to see that happen. But early break like this, then you have basically another preseason style opponent next. You kind of really are going into that same mindset of hopefully a lot of our guys will play.
And I was we were talking about this last week. To me, I was like, I said, what almost kind of feels like these first 2 games were the NFL like you just said, and that now we're getting ready. The excitement. We can't wait for Bowling Green at noon next week, and they play tomorrow. They play, I think, Kent State. They play somebody formidable tomorrow for their conference, so we get to kind of do a little bit of scouting and watch them tomorrow. But and I apologize. I asked you one question, then asked you a different question. So let me go back to that first question I asked. Can the bye week hurt the team's momentum?
Not with this opponent coming up.
Okay.
I think with Bowling Green, unless Eddie George is playing, then maybe. But with what they have going on and how Cincinnati dismantled them pretty easily, I don't see any problems going on, especially when it will be at home. And I know a lot of those Ohio kids are one of the smaller side. They're not the Ohio State. They're not the Cincinnati kids. They're guys who were kind of on the outskirts and then the transfers sprinkled in. So I'm not worried about this. Now, if you had Pittsburgh or Virginia, then one of those ACC teams might slip you up coming in out of a break. But going into Bowling Green, they may start slow, but they'll still have so much talent that they'll be able to recover.
So you mentioned Cincinnati, and I can't help but to give my weekly thanks to the University of Cincinnati for coming in and taking our football coach so that we were allowed to get the guy that everybody wanted. Listen, here's my stance on that. Like the former coach, great dude. I don't think he did anything wrong other than underperformed here. But at the end of the day, even if Coach Braun would have came and not succeeded, I'm just glad that every time the spot was open, we didn't have to hear Jeff Braun propaganda for 17 weeks in a row leading up to the season. Just like with on the basketball side, for 8 years, every time the job opened up after Rick Pitino left, it was, man, let's get Kenny Payne in here. Let's get Kenny Payne in. And we got him. We don't have to hear that anymore. That failed miserably. So, I think I've come up with a theory. I believe that failed so bad so that the Braum hire would succeed so much. So let's hope that is indeed the case. So the next thing we want to talk about is the top 25 polls. And again, as fans, now we're in between. We're not necessarily fans, but we're not the athletes themselves. At least I'm not an athlete. I'm trying to be an athlete again, but I'm not the athletes anymore. For you guys on the field, do you take poll rankings? Do you all take those disrespectful, or do you not really pay attention to those until later in the year to when it really matters?
I took it disrespectfully. I've always wanted to be ranked the whole season, and when we were in the Big East, you lose one game, you could be top 5, you're going to drop all the way out. So it was pretty tough in those days, but we just loved seeing a number by our name. It was something that the coaches really talked about, us making sure we kept that number by our name throughout the season and strive to keep climbing. But when you kind of play those biggest opponents, you would kind of just stay 15, 17 in that range the whole year. And then when you play a big opponent, that's kind of your only chance. But now in the ACC, you would love to see them ranked early on in the season. But I think it builds that callous on them to want to be better and want to get into that top 25. So as they do get these ACC opponents start to knock off those ranked guys, then they'll have no choice but to put them up, and then the SECs and those guys will knock each other down where they can slip in there.
Absolutely. I want to ask you guys this as a prediction. We're going to do a prediction portion here in the first half of the show. Louisville gets ranked this season after they defeat blank. Sean?
Pittsburgh.
So you think in 3 weeks we'll be ranked?
Mm-hmm.
Joey?
Pittsburgh.
Who do we play after Pittsburgh?
Miami.
No, Virginia.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I'm going with Virginia because I think they will want us to for sure be top 25 when we play Miami. The only reason I think it's going to take that long is because so week 1 we were ranked 26th, beat EKU,
mm-hmm.
and then we fell down to 33rd, even though we destroyed them. Beat James Madison, fell to 35th. So
here's why I think Pittsburgh, because we'll sneak in the very back end of the top 25, and then when we beat Virginia, we'll be ranked even higher for the Miami game.
I just don't think we're going to get any respect for playing and defeating Bowling Green. It's just, and it's sad to say, it's just the Louisville effect in football. We're used to being slighted. We're used to having to work twice as hard. I mean, for the love of God, South Florida beat Florida last week and went all the way from like 45th to 16th or 17th. They're in the top. Like, I don't understand. We didn't get that kind of a rub are they in the Big 12 now, or are they still in South Florida?
No, they're in the
AAC.
Yeah.
AAC. Well, I always moved them to the Big 12 when I played NCAA football. I don't know. I guess because they were always decent on the game, so I moved them to a power conference.
But got them out.
I don't know why we never get that rub where we defeat. And we beat James Madison. That's not like a world beater. And I do think that we probably are going to be James Madison's only loss this year. And I do think they're going to be making a solid case for the playoff. I don't think they'll make it. I think they'll be on the bubble section of that.
Yeah, because I think South Florida, they keep playing the way they're playing.
They'll be the G5 or G. Isn't that what it's called? G5?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I always get that song "Fly Like a G6" in my mind when I'm talking about them. So I don't understand it, but we take care of business. I still believe that maybe we jump up to 27 or 28 if we beat them handedly. We'll jump up to 27 or 28. We beat Pittsburgh on the road at Pittsburgh, correct?
Yes.
One of our only 4 away games this year, and it's 4 tough away games. Pittsburgh, we haven't played well in Pittsburgh. I don't remember what our record is all time there, but we've won the last couple of games or prior to the slip up, and I do mean slip up when we lost our offensive lineman. The last time we played at Pittsburgh, we lost. What was his name, Sean?
Renato Brown.
Yeah, Renato Brown, and then our Jawar Jordan got hurt during the game. Correct, second half.
I think he was actually hurt prior to the game, but they went ahead and tried to play him anyways,
and they had to pull him out again.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, that's what I thought I remembered. But not an easy place to play. And then Virginia's at home,
mm-hmm.
and that should be And I'm not saying that Virginia would put more respect on our name than Pittsburgh, but you got to think if we're not ranked after that game, then we just might as well forget about that number beside our name or just keep winning games and then it'll take care of itself. Before we get to the second part of our show, we do want to re-shout out our fine sponsors: Fitness Market, 4Pegs, Collision Course Crew, Cherry Pick and Shoot 360, Mossy Oak, Planet Fitness, Rally House, Beckman's Fine Blades, and Josh Jarbo from Remax Realty. Preston, I know you got to watch this team this year, and it's been a small sample size. So I know when I ask you this question, it's like, well, it's only been 2 games, and really the starters have only played 6 quarters. So it's not really a huge, not a lot to go on. But I want to ask you this question. What are your thoughts on this year's defense so far?
I think they've been pretty solid. They make plays when they need to. Sometimes it feels a little shaky at times, especially against James Madison, we got a little uneasy with the running game. Started to feel a little weird, but I think they'll tighten that up over the bye week. They said they showed some different things and did some things that they weren't expecting on both sides, which you could kind of tell that they did some good things on both sides. But I feel that the defense is improving from years past. I feel like they finally got a grasp of the defense. A lot of the guys have been there for multiple years, especially the ones calling the plays and being in the middle of the stuff. So I think they'll be okay. I'm excited to see how they play against Bowling Green because that's a team that you can shut out or keep the 7 to 14 points and have another big type victory to where you're building that confidence going into the ACC. But I feel like they fly around, they hustle. I don't see any Alabama guys loafing, none of that. It's a lot of flying around, having fun. So I'm excited to see how they'll play.
It's funny you bring up JMU because to me, I had the initial when I was watching the game live, and obviously you sit down and you think a little bit and you reassess from time to time. But as I was watching that game live, I couldn't help but to think that we looked out of position a lot. Then I'm sitting there thinking, well, maybe we were just selling heavy on the run and forgot to adjust it because they weren't a very good passing team, but when they committed to the run, they did catch us off guard a lot. So, what are your thoughts? Do you think that we were just out of place because we were lacking the fundamentals, or were we out of place because we were concentrating on the run because we knew they couldn't pass very well? Because they did overthrow a bunch of wide open passes that they could have scored on. So maybe that's what we were doing.
Yeah, it looked a little difficult. I mean, they kept changing quarterbacks. You couldn't really get a flow of what they were doing. So I think they were kind of feeling the way out. But once they needed to get stops, I was excited to see them get off the field and really get the ball back to the offense, and the offense is scoring in 1 or 2 plays and really putting the game out of hand. So that was good to see. When they needed to turn it on, they really turned it on in that second half and figured it out. I don't know what adjustments they made at halftime, but whatever they saw, they see that they could take coaching and the coaches could make those adjustments, and they all understood it to where they really look a lot better in that second half.
And that's the biggest difference between this head coach, and I'm not throwing dirt on any prior coaches, but this head coach and the last head coach, we seem to make adjustments at the half, and they work. I don't know if they tried to make adjustments at the half with the prior regime, and they just didn't work. But it always seemed like whatever killed us in the first half continued to do that in the second half. That doesn't seem to be the case with Coach Brom. Do you think that we have this was a question that Sean came up with. He wanted to know, do you think that we have kind of played, because I'll say this again, not a large sample size. Our defense hasn't looked like super electric so far, but it's had its flashes. Do you think that we are just slow out the gate, or are we playing down to the level of our competition?
I think it might be a little bit of both. I think they definitely were playing down the competition, not taking it as serious as I felt they should have, to where I don't care how bad offense is looking, you should always shut out those 2 opponents for the whole game, essentially. And I feel like we need to get more turnovers, get at the ball with takeaways, with poking it. I think the D linemen is doing a great job of swiping the ball away and doing things like that. But I think as a whole defense, they run to the ball, but there's just could be a lot more takeaway opportunities. But since they are running to the ball, eventually those passes and those tips and overthrows will start to go our way. And I'm excited to see that happen with the new safeties and things like that doing a good job of just being in position. So I think playing down to Bowling Green could happen again, especially with the bye week. But hopefully they can turn it up because those coaches don't accept the mediocrity. So I know once it happens, they'll nip it in the bud immediately and get those guys turned back up.
Speaking of the D lineman, I believe you're referring to Clev Lubin, the newest addition to the historically vaunted, thanks, Joey, Louisville defensive line. There's always one guy on the line that terrorizes people, whether you're going all the way back to Lozo, Gelati, Elvis Doomerville. I mean, we could sit here all night and name names, but it's just crazy how well he's adjusting and playing in this new system. And then AJ Green has also been playing lights out. We've had one intercept. Have we recovered a fumble yet, Sean?
Yeah, in the end zone.
Oh yeah. Oh, that this last game we got our only 2 turnovers of the season, correct? No turnovers versus EKU, really?
No.
Well, and that was on the interception was on an overthrow again, as we brought up. I don't really blame the EKU game. We should afford, and I idiotically predicted that we'd have 5 or 6 turnovers versus EKU. Shame on me for thinking too much. Well, I also didn't know that we were going to pull all the starters out halfway through the second quarter, but I digress on that. We'll talk about that in a minute. But yeah, I expect for the turnovers to keep piling up as we go. This team is too, and I don't hold the game against, because again, you're not going to pick off a whole lot of balls when they run the ball 80% of the game, because their quarterback has a wet noodle for an arm and apparently no accuracy either. And those guys just think, if you listen to their fan base, they beat us. We didn't win. They won. So congratulations to your mythical victory over Louisville. I'm sure that if you went out in the regular season, you're going to put an asterisk next to that 12 and tell everybody you went 12-0. But speaking of pulling the starters so early, do you think? Let's look at it both ways. As a fan, you've been waiting for 9 months for football to come back, and you get to see your team out there. You're excited. They're doing good things. And then halftime happens, and you're like, well, we're up enough. We'll probably get to see a couple series in the third quarter, or, and have a little fun. But none of the starters on either side came back after halftime. Do you agree with pulling the starters so early in game 1? Can that be the reason we started so slow in game 2?
Yeah, I wouldn't have done that. I don't agree with pulling them out so early. I would wait till the fourth quarter, especially after the quarterback threw an interception in the half. You kind of want to go out there and build some momentum going into the rest of the season. And I want my guys to get as many touchdowns and, build their confidence as much as they can. Because when we played FIU, we won 72-0, and we didn't come out to the fourth quarter. You want to build that momentum, get those stats, get that confidence for all your guys, and build a little extra stats, get an extra touchdown or 2 for those extra awards and stuff like that. You just get better film out there to have. So I love keeping my guys out there through at least the fourth quarter, and then letting those guys sprinkle in at the end. You can rotate them in to get them all in if you want to, but I think the ones should have played at least 3 quarters to where they come back out in the second half, because you need to feel that. I know when I was in the NFL, you came back that last third preseason game to go out in the second half, so you get at least 1 or 2 series, because it's different when you got to sit down, lay around for a minute, people stretch, some people don't do anything, then you got to start back up again and be ready to go. So I think having that under your belt would have been good to have them do, but I think they did a good job in the JMU game doing that. But I just would have loved to see them put it on EKU even more coming out.
Absolutely, and we want to make it clear, we're not criticizing the coaching decisions or anything. We're trying to figure out, maybe, like, again, fans, media, players, it's a different perspective. So we wanted to get a player's perspective on that. Who's your co-host right there?
Oh, that's Samson. There's little man Sammy.
Adorable, man. Samson, you got anything to say to Card Nation?
Oh, he got this little. He's a Cardinal too, so he has this.
There you go.
He's got his bird.
There you go. There you go. Raising them right. Guys, you got anything for Preston?
No, I mean, you kind of ask him everything. I'm anxious to see what's next for him. You know, like you said, you know, he's trying to figure out kind of where he wants to, what path he wants to go down next. But just anxious to see what's down the road for him. So he'll have to come back once kind of figures it out, and we can talk more about it.
And the next time you're in Louisville, we absolutely have to have you in studio. We've renovated the studio since the basement flooded during the pandemic. So we've remodeled, renovated the studios, and we'll have to have you in here soon, man. Also, we want to take the time to announce that we will be, as we did the last time Preston was on here, we will be making a $100 donation to the Preston Brown Foundation on behalf of Cardinal Sports Zone here within the next week. So love what you're doing with that. I know people have heard it before because we've asked you before, but can you explain to everybody what your foundation's all about?
Yeah, we started the Preston Brown Foundation in 2017 up in Cincinnati. Really just helping kids with mental health, knowing that it's okay not to be okay, and finding someone to talk to. We have different mentorship programs and things like that, just to be an ear for these kids to listen to. Every time I turn on the news, I watch Louisville news, Cincinnati news, and you see too many kids out here in these streets doing wrong things, finding guns and breaking into cars, and there's just so much stuff going on with these youth, and they just need somebody to listen to, somebody to talk to, somebody to know that it'll be okay and they can be better. No matter how far they're falling, you can still get back up and walk the right path. So we're just trying to help them know that it's okay and just be there for them any way we can.
That's so awesome, dude. Very, very proud of you. Well, you know, we don't just support anything around here unless we believe in it, and we believe in you, my man. So we appreciate you doing that for the youth because, you know, there's not a lot of people like that out there in the world today. So, so thank you, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Let's go to the chat line real quick. Trenton, I feel like the last few years we have been complaining about the bye weeks. Is it out of our control to a point? Very good question, Trenton. I don't know. I would like to, in his next comment, is making fun of the former coach. He does a nice little play on words with coach and instead of Satterfield. We'll just let you fill that in your own imagination. Robert says Louisville will be top 25 if they beat Virginia. Also states they may get a couple spots in the top 25 if Georgia Tech beats Clemson. Another loss. Bye-bye ACC championship and playoffs for them. Our guy Robert Holt says, good evening, fellas. Really need TJ Capers to step up right now for Stan Kwan. And he's saying hello to everybody in the chat. Trenton says again, wish we had Clev while Gelati was still here. Mm-hmm. They would have been a terror. Who did we have with Gelati last year, though, that was really good?
I mean, there wasn't anybody that I would say was bad, but
no, we had another superstar on the other end.
Now, 2 years ago, we had
maybe that's what
Mason Riger.
Yeah. No, that's not who I'm thinking of.
I don't remember. I mean, honestly, I don't remember.
You're talking about Yaya Diaby, maybe, because
did him and Ashton play together?
Yeah,
okay, maybe I am. Destel was on the line with them too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
No, I think it was somebody else.
Puryear was on the defensive line.
He was the one that got all the special teams touchdowns, right?
Well, he had an interception.
Not special teams, but he had like
recovery.
Yeah. He had like 3 or 4 touchdowns last year. It's going to hit my head after the show goes off, but I digress. Yeah, I mean, it would have been nice to have a little Lubin on one side and a little Gelati on the other. That would have been.
He's lubing it up on the line.
He really is. He's doing a fantastic job.
Somebody called that, I think.
Well, yes, you did. You called that he was going to be the best player on the defensive line.
The guy that I called having 100 tackles is injured, man.
I said he was going to be the defensive MVP.
Well, Sean, we know better than to listen to you and your predictions. They're not.
Well, there's a reason Sean didn't pick Lubin.
We'll leave that to the imagination as well.
What was that?
I don't know. You know how Sean gets sometimes. Listen, we want to thank Preston again for hopping on here with us, and we want to thank you all for taking the Friday night. they always turn out and draw. I guess Friday night you're either at home, got the kids in bed, and need something to watch, or you're about to go out to the club. So as you're going to the club, you're getting ready. You got us on. We appreciate it, and it never hurts when you have a absolute Hall of Famer boss on here with you, like we do in Preston Brown. Not you, Joey.
Oh. I mean, I think Sam's watching it while he's getting ready to go to the club.
He probably is. Shout out to Sam, who was supposed to be here with us, but is not. Yeah, I mean, there's not many places in town you can find two former Cardinals on the podcast at 10:05 at night and later. So, again, one of us played, and the other one watched everybody else play. So it was we had different experiences here at Louisville. But make sure y'all, since y'all are supporting the podcast, you get out and support our great photographers, Jeff Nunn, TJ Barr, Justin Kruger, and Keith Russell. Best crew in the business for sponsorship opportunities. I know what you're thinking. Y'all got a lot of sponsors, and we do. And we got a couple more getting ready to jump on with us because they believe in us and we believe in them.
I've got one in the pipeline.
Joey's got one locked and ready to go. And we'll get those announced as soon as they become official. But if you want to hop on here with them, bottom left-hand corner, my email address. Yes, me and Mike Rutherford, I think, are the last two people on earth with AOL.com emails. Shoot us an email there. We'll get you taken care of. Stay tuned to our social media and subscribe to us on YouTube or Facebook to be alerted anytime we go live, even though we prefer YouTube. You can find the audio version of this podcast on over 125 different podcast avenues: Apple, iTunes, Buzzsprout, Spotify, TuneIn, Google, Amazon, and iHeart, to name a few. Hit subscribe, like, heart, plus sign, or whatever it is that Sean does on the weekends now to get these downloaded straight to your phone or your PC or your laptop.
It's those wrist abs.
Directly. They go, yes, he does. They get directly downloaded to your personal devices. You don't have to do anything. Whenever the show's over with live, if you don't listen live, you get a notification on your phone. Wherever you subscribe to us, it'll be there for you. If you haven't listened to all the prior episodes of the Cardinal Sports Zone podcast, it's easy to find. Go to cardinalsportszone.com, go to the podcast tab, podcast drop-down menu, then select CSC podcast for the stuff from our last 7 seasons. For those of you all that don't know, we had a couple years that we had the CSC podcast. We got approached to do the show on national radio, ESPN 939 The Ville. We did that for 4 or 5 years. Then our dad got sick, and because of other things and responsibilities I couldn't do the show anymore. So we moved this to podcast version so I could literally do it anywhere, at the hospital, at home, in the basement, at the kitchen table. We've done it all those places. So that stuff is CSC podcast. The stuff before 93.9 is on archives, and the stuff on 93.9 Nick Valvano deleted on purpose, probably.
Flushed it down the toilet.
He absolutely flushed it down the toilet.
And he didn't shut the door.
He didn't. Check out our exclusives on cardinalsportszone.com, the place that all began. We've got phenomenal writers. Their segments. Sean, we have to have you bring back the barber shop. It was fun. You had a really cool graphic, and it's probably the only time in your life you've heard somebody say, man, your last name's cool, because it's Barber, and it's a play on words, and the graphics were cool, and you're a great writer. Sam's a great writer. Dalton's a great writer. Just JK. I mean,
I'm a great writer when I'm writing up like disciplinary forms.
Sure. Absolutely. Shout out to everybody out there sharing the podcast. We love and appreciate you guys. Shout out to our guys, Marcus Maben and Steve Rummage, doing the Lord's work Monday through Friday from 10 to noon, approximately, on ESPN 939 The Ville. Shout out to our guy, Dalton Pence, here at Cardinal Sports Zone. He has a show Mondays with DP from 6 to 7 on the Big X, and he has his Locked On Louisville podcast as well. Check them all out. He's got a unique perspective on things, and I think a lot of you all would really like it. Last but not least, shout out to our guy, Cardinal Sports Zone Blake McCauley. He co-hosts and produces a show called Spill in the Ville with former Louisville basketball player Terrence Jennings. They just started out. They need your support. They need your help. they've had a lot of great guests on this summer, and they're about to start basketball season, so we'll get to hear some. I think you got to move in the summer. It's cool to bring all the guests in, but during the heat of the season, you got to break down the games every week, and I'm interested in seeing how well that goes for the both of them. Guys, where can we find you all on social media? First off, Joey,
Joe Wallman 526,
Sean,
LL Sean.
and What's your
where
Instagram?
else? Where's it? Come on,
Oh,
Sean. You've been
okay.
on here for 7 years,
Okay. Well,
and you helped
my
produce
Christian-
the
my Chris-
first.
my Christian mingle is Christian in the streets and missionary in the sheets.
God dang!
Sean, this is a family show.
All lies detected.
Unbelievable.
Idiot.
God bless.
Just lost my train of
No,
thought.
isn't that like your Instagram, like S Barber?
Yes.
S Barber what?
06.
I said it like S Barber. Oh yes, yes.
Yeah.
Sean's special. Let's just leave it at that. Yeah, Samson don't like you, Sean. Talking about freaks and stuff. Samson, we feel the same way.
Sing 'em. Go dog.
He thinks the mannequin's real behind me.
Oh. That's hilarious. Preston, where can people find you on if they're not, which I don't know why you wouldn't be following the GOAT?
What do I have? I got Twitter. I don't be on there, but my name is PB_ the word number and then the number 2.
There you go. The word number, the number 2. Are there any other social medias that you enjoy using? I know a lot of it's just like gloom and doom and stupidity, but are there any other ones that you use regularly?
Not really. I deleted it all off my phone, so I don't be on there scrolling mindlessly. But I have Instagram. I think it's P_Brown_2.
Okay, fair enough. And I'm at Jeremy_CSZ. The website is you can see it underneath Joey, where all you can find us on social media. Shout outs to our guys. Excuse me, our guys at the 502 Circle, Dan and Mark, getting it absolutely done. And hopefully we've got some big basketball commitments coming up soon. Have I mentioned to you guys lately how excited I am that football's back? I think I do every show, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm even on a bye week, I'm extremely hyped.
Sean loves the bye week.
He does. So let's get into our last words our final not last words, our final thoughts. Hopefully it's not our last words. And then we'll sign off and let you all get about your beautiful Friday evenings. I'm about to go sit out on the back porch and chill for a little bit. But Joey?
Maryland's trash. Get your pets spayed or neutered, like Sean is.
Yes, Sean is neutered.
I'm looking forward to a footballless, podcastless weekend, coming back from vacation and working all week. Just be able to just kind of chill. I mean, I am going to hit the gym because that's what I do.
What time are we going tomorrow? We'll talk about that after the
I'm
show.
sleeping in.
Okay. I got to work for a little bit in the morning.
Sleeping in is probably like 8 a.m. But
facts. And don't forget, and I'm glad you brought that up, we will not be on this Sunday at our regular time. We are taking a bye week. We are punting, if you will. We'll be back next Friday night at 10:05 to preview Bowling Green. We'll talk about what we saw. Y'all's homework this weekend is simple. Watch the Bowling Green game so we can talk about it Friday night. Sean, your final thoughts.
Well, I thought I'd give a score update for Louisville volleyball.
Okay.
They are tied 1-1,
Okay.
and in set 3, Louisville's up 18-17.
Okay. Well, listen, the Louisville volleyball teams has got a really tough stretch of ranked teams. They had number 2 Texas on the ropes Tuesday night. They were up. What did I say earlier? They were up 11-6 and squandered the 5th set somehow. They've got a top 25 Creighton team tonight. They've got top 25. Some team that plays. They wear blue. They play down the road a little bit. We don't really like them. Don't really care. But they're a top 5 team at the moment. Got them next week or in 2 weeks. Got a pretty tough stretch of ranked opponents.
Why do I feel like that we already beat a top 5 team?
We didn't. We haven't played one yet. That was our first one of the season, and honestly, we played a lot better than I thought we were going to play against Texas. I thought we were going to, because we hadn't played. We played good, but we hadn't played Louisville volleyball good the first 4 games. So, shout out to first-year coach Dan Meskey. I really like it. We got to watch the whole game Tuesday night. Loved his passion, loved his attitude, loved everything about what I saw from him. Even in that 5th set, he challenged a couple calls that weren't like you could see that there was nothing wrong. But to give his team a breather when Texas was coming back, love that strategy. Probably wouldn't like it if it was going against me, but I like it for us to do. Anything else, Sean? I'm sorry I interrupted your final thoughts.
Oh no, it's all right. We marked the bye week.
Okay, so we are. Fun fact: we are undefeated all time versus the bye week.
It's amazing.
So that's amazing. Preston, your final thoughts?
The UK sucks, and God bless.
Hey, you
That's
can't say
greatness right there.
that might have to be a no. We won't clip that because then Kentucky fans will be tweeting them. And you know what?
Let him so I get back on Twitter. I'll fire him up.
I was going to say, like he cares. He doesn't even look at it.
That's true. That's true. Any problems that you all have with us, make sure you tweet at PB_word number 2. No, just kidding.
Any problems, just message on Instagram, sbarber06.
Sean, I don't understand how you let me forget this. We didn't do your segment yet.
Oh, yeah, that's sweeping the nation.
It is the hottest segment sweeping the nation. Sean, take it away. You don't get the spotlight very often. Take it away.
No.
He did plank for like 45 seconds to a minute earlier today. He got me about 5 or 10 seconds, I think. But
Aaron Walker, for some reason, wants to know what your username is on Feet Finder. I don't know what that is.
I already told you, eat the feet.
Gosh, Red State says go Cards, and hit the follow button. Says Colorado's getting spanked.
I do have one last final word. I've had a bunch of people from work asking what the name of the podcast is. So if you're listening, shout out, keep supporting us, and thanks for your hard work at work.
People are flooding the chat line. We already knew Sean didn't get any action. Are you offended or proud that they know your shtick by now?
Sean nervously laughs when he's on the spot. Like,
absolutely. Yep. That's why we have him here. He's the entertainment. My final thoughts for the week, everybody. Want to get a little serious for a second. A lot of horrible things going on in the world today. It costs absolutely $0 to be kind and compassionate. You may not like people's views or ideas, but we have to come together, or what's the saying it is?
United we stand, divided we fall.
Absolutely.
We are falling hard right now.
Absolutely. Red State said condition critical, baby. I don't know what that means, but it's hilarious. So again, prayers up for our country. Prayers up for everybody out there that's going through some hardships right now. We got your back as always. We love you guys. For Joe Wallman, for Sean Barber, and for the incomparable Preston Brown, and for Samson too, because he barks at mannequins. My name's Jeremy Wallman. We appreciate you guys tuning in on a Friday night. We love you and appreciate your support. This has been the Cardinal Sports Zone podcast.